The stars above shimmered like scattered jewels, and the small human fleet glided quietly through the void. Captain Ethan stood on the bridge of the lead ship, horizon's edge scanning the distant planet below. It was enormous, with swirling green oceans and purple continents, a world alive with strange energy. This was the domain of the alien Queen Seralith, a ruler whose name alone inspired fear across several star systems. Ethan's team had trained for years for this mission. They were not diplomats in the usual sense. They were warriors, thinkers, and survivors. Though their ships were smaller, their numbers limited, and their armor simple compared to the alien technology they might face, Ethan trusted his team. Humans had a way of surviving where others failed, a way of turning weakness into strength. "Captain," Lieutenant Mira said, her voice calm but firm. "We are approaching the outer perimeter. Sensors show multiple unidentified ships in orbit, moving in formation. They are monitoring us closely." Ethan nodded. "Good, keep shields up and engines ready. Remember, we are here to observe first, respond second. No rash actions." The humans entered orbit, their fleet small and fragile-looking among the massive alien vessels. Suddenly, a beam of light scanned them. Then a communication channel opened. The image that appeared on the main screen made Ethan take a subtle step back. Seralith floated above her throne, taller than any human had ever imagined a being could be. Her skin shimmered like polished obsidian, and her eyes glowed faintly gold. She wore armor that seemed alive, etched with symbols that pulsed like tiny stars. She smiled, a cold, calculated smile. "So the humans have arrived," she said, her voice echoing in every corner of the bridge. Tiny creatures, fragile, weak. "Did your species think you could impress anyone by arriving here?" Ethan swallowed but remained steady. "We come in peace, Queen Seralith. We wish to discuss alliances and learn from each other's knowledge." Seralith laughed, a sound that made the human crew shiver. "Alliances? Learn from us? You are amusing. Bring your warriors forward. Let me see these fragile humans." Ethan gestured to his team. They moved with precision, forming a small organized line in the observation chamber. Though their armor looked basic and their weapons small compared to the alien standard, their posture was confident. They were not afraid, not even in the face of Seralith's prideful scrutiny. The Queen's advisors whispered among themselves. "Why do they not tremble?" One said, disbelief in his voice. "They are humans," another replied. "Strange, but they show resolve." Seralith's eyes narrowed. She decided to make an example. "Humans," she said, "we will demonstrate the strength of our warriors. Observe and know your place." From the shadows of the chamber, elite alien soldiers emerged. They were enormous, with limbs twice as long as a human's and weapons that glowed with deadly energy. They moved with grace and precision, their armor shimmering with light. Ethan and his team watched quietly. He noted each movement, the way the aliens coordinated, their attack patterns, and even their small vulnerabilities. Though their physical strength was immense, there were gaps in their formation. There were moments when they overcommitted to attacks, leaving themselves open for a counter. Seralith clapped her hands, signaling the start of the demonstration. Her soldiers attacked each other first, showing their skills to the humans. They leaped, twisted, and struck with terrifying speed. Ethan noticed the pattern. "They are confident but predictable," he whispered to Mira. "If we were forced into combat, we would need to be unpredictable. Watch their rhythm and move against it." The aliens completed their display, pausing to bow to their queen. Seralith turned to the humans. "See, humans? This is the power you are up against. Your weapons are toys, your bodies fragile. You would fall in minutes." Ethan stepped forward slightly, calm and unwavering. "Strength is not always in size or weaponry, Your Majesty. Humans rely on strategy, unity, and adaptability. That is how we survive." Seralith's laughter echoed again. "Strategy, unity? Words, actions, humans' actions. Let us see if your words mean anything." The Queen waved her hand and a holographic arena appeared around them. The walls were made of pure energy, glowing blue and pulsing with power. "I invite your warriors to a challenge. Do you have the courage to prove yourselves?" Ethan looked at his team. Mira, Lieutenant Rojas, and the others nodded subtly. They were ready. They had trained for this, prepared for far worse than what they saw. Humans thrived under pressure, under danger. It was in their nature to adapt, to survive against overwhelming odds. "We accept," Ethan said. "We will demonstrate what humanity can do." Seralith's golden eyes glimmered with curiosity. She had expected fear, trembling, begging, but instead she saw calm determination. This intrigued her, though she would never admit it. The humans stepped into the arena. Their movements were precise, disciplined, and coordinated. They did not rush, did not panic. They watched, analyzed, and waited. Ethan observed the alien soldiers, noting every pattern, every moment when an attack left a slight opening. "Do not underestimate them," Mira whispered. "They are small, yes, but they are clever." Siralith waved her hand, signaling her soldiers to attack. The aliens lunged, swinging glowing blades and firing energy bolts. Humans dodged with swift, fluid movements, moving as a single unit. They blocked where necessary, sidestepped when needed, and countered in unison. Every move was calculated, every action a blend of instinct and training. Even though the aliens were physically superior, the humans' adaptability kept them safe. They used the arena's environment cleverly, dodging behind energy barriers and using momentum to turn attacks back against their opponents. Siralith watched in disbelief. How can they move so quickly? They are not strong enough to survive this, she muttered under her breath. "They are humans," one of her advisors said quietly. "Do not underestimate them. Their strength is different." The humans fought as a unit, their coordination flawless. Ethan noticed a small gap in the alien formation, a flaw no alien had pointed out. He signaled to his team and they acted simultaneously. With precise timing, they dodged and struck, forcing the aliens to retreat momentarily. The humans had survived the first test, and the audience of aliens whispered among themselves in astonishment. Siralith's face was unreadable, but inside, she was shaken. These humans, whom she had considered weak, were not only surviving but also learning and adapting in real time. Her pride would not allow her to show respect yet, but a small flicker of doubt crossed her mind. The part ended with the humans standing in the arena, breathing steadily, ready for whatever came next. They were calm, confident, and unbroken. Siralith's mind raced. Perhaps, just perhaps, there was more to these fragile creatures than she had imagined. And for the first time, she felt a flicker of curiosity, a dangerous feeling for a queen who had never been surprised in her life. The arena shimmered under Siralith's command, its energy walls glowing brighter as she prepared the next phase of the demonstration. Captain Ethan and his team stood together, calm and ready, their breath steady. Every movement they had trained for years to master was now crucial. The alien queen's eyes glimmered with both pride and curiosity as she observed them closely. "Humans," she said, her voice echoing across the chamber. "This is your real test. You will face my elite warriors. Survive if you can." From the shadows, the aliens emerged. These warriors were larger than before, their armor radiating energy, their weapons glowing with intense power. Their movements were fluid, synchronized, and deadly. Each soldier's skill was honed for battle, and many had survived wars that humans could hardly imagine. Ethan studied them carefully. Teams stay together, watch their moves, anticipate, and adapt. Their strength is great, but their predictability is their weakness, Mira nodded. "We can do this. Focus on timing, and use the arena to our advantage." The first wave of alien warriors charged, leaping with speed that seemed unnatural. Their weapons cut through the air, leaving streaks of blue energy. The humans dodged, rolled, and countered. Even though the aliens were physically stronger, they underestimated the humans' adaptability. Rojas, another human warrior, rolled under an alien swing and struck at the exposed joint of the armor. The alien faltered for a moment, surprised by the precision. Ethan and Mira coordinated, pushing the aliens back while avoiding direct confrontations that could overwhelm them. Siralith watched in astonishment. Her elite warriors were trained to face entire squads of alien opponents, yet these humans moved with an understanding that seemed almost instinctive. Every time a warrior attacked, the humans responded in perfect harmony. Their teamwork flawless, one of her advisors whispered. "They are not just surviving, they are learning with every strike." Siralith's pride burned inside her, yet she could not look away. She signaled more warriors to join the fight. The arena was soon filled with dozens of alien soldiers, their weapons blazing. Ethan's team, though outnumbered, moved as one. They used feints, distractions, and clever maneuvers that kept the aliens constantly off balance. "Remember," Ethan said quietly, "our strength is not in matching them, blow for blow. We survive by staying unpredictable." The humans dodged a barrage of energy blasts and swung their smaller weapons with precise timing, striking vulnerable points on the alien armor. Every hit was calculated, designed to slow, confuse, or redirect the opponent. Despite their size disadvantage, the humans' unity made them formidable. Mira leaped to intercept a warrior aiming a powerful strike at Ethan. She grabbed his weapon mid-swing and redirected the energy blast harmlessly into the arena wall. Ethan used the opening to disable another alien soldier, exploiting the brief distraction. Their coordination was seamless, each move complementing the others. Saralith leaned forward on her throne.
"How can they?"
she muttered. Her voice was softer now, a whisper of disbelief. The humans were doing what no alien could have expected, turning disadvantage into opportunity. One alien warrior, larger and stronger than the others, charged directly at Ethan. The human captain dodged at the last second, rolling to the side. He quickly calculated the warrior's momentum and redirected it using the arena's energy barriers. The warrior slammed into the barrier, stunned for a brief moment. Ethan took advantage, disarming him and forcing him back into the fray. Impressive, Saralith admitted, though her pride would not allow her to say it aloud. She waved her hand, signaling the next challenge: the energy drones. High above, floating drones activated, each armed with powerful energy cannons. They hovered and fired in patterns designed to trap the humans. Yet the humans adapted quickly. They used the arena's layout, leaping from walls and sliding under beams, confusing the drones and dodging their fire. One drone fired too early, and Ethan tricked it into colliding with another, causing both to malfunction temporarily. Saralith's advisors exchanged uneasy glances. "They are too coordinated." "Too fast," one whispered. "They are humans," another replied. "Perhaps this is their true strength. They learn, they adapt, and they survive." Despite the odds, the humans remained calm. Every attack they faced, every strategy the aliens employed, they found a counter. It was not brute strength that kept them alive. It was intelligence, observation, and teamwork. The aliens' superior size and weapons meant little when the humans anticipated every move. Ethan noticed a pattern. The alien warriors relied heavily on predictable sequences. He whispered to his team, "Focus on timing. Use their rhythm against them." The next phase was critical. The largest alien warrior, armed with a massive energy sword, charged toward the humans in a coordinated strike. Ethan signaled and the team moved in perfect synchrony. Mira rolled under the first strike. Rojas drew the warrior's attention to one side and Ethan moved behind, targeting a weak spot he had observed. With a combination of agility and precision, they disabled the warrior without taking serious damage. The arena erupted in murmurs. Even some of Saralith's elite soldiers looked shocked. The humans had done what no one thought possible. They survived, outsmarted, and even disabled their opponents with minimal harm to themselves. Saralith felt a strange mix of emotions. Pride in her warriors battled with awe for the humans. She had underestimated them, and the consequences were clear. These fragile creatures, these humans, were not weak. They were clever, coordinated, and unyielding. "Enough," she finally said, her voice firm but quieter than before. "The humans, they have survived the challenge." Ethan and his team stood in the center of the arena, breathing steadily, their uniforms scuffed but intact. They had faced overwhelming odds and prevailed, not because of power, but because of unity and intelligence. Saralith rose from her throne and walked toward the arena's edge. For the first time, she regarded the humans not with contempt, but with a cautious respect. "You may be small," she said, "but you are not weak. Humans, you have survived where many would have fallen. Perhaps there is more to your kind than I imagined." Ethan bowed slightly. "We do not seek to prove superiority, Your Majesty. We only wish to show that courage and unity can overcome even the greatest challenges." A silence fell over the chamber. The alien council, the soldiers, and even Saralith's advisors were quiet, processing what they had just witnessed. Humans, weak in appearance, simple in technology, had faced the mightiest warriors of Saralith's empire and survived. Saralith stepped back, her golden eyes thoughtful. She had expected ridicule, submission, and fear. Instead, she saw discipline, intelligence, and courage. It unsettled her pride, yet it sparked a curiosity she could not ignore. Ethan turned to his team. "Good work. Stay alert. The challenge may not be over yet." Even as he spoke, Saralith's mind raced. These humans were dangerous. Not in the way her warriors were dangerous, but in a way she had never considered. They were adaptable, unpredictable, and brave. They could survive impossible situations and turn weakness into power. For the first time, the alien queen felt a mixture of uncertainty and fascination. She realized that if humans were to become her allies, or her enemies, her entire strategy would need to change. The part ended with the humans standing united, ready for whatever came next. Saralith retreated to her private chamber, her mind alive with thoughts she could not yet fully understand. The humans had proven themselves in ways she had never imagined, and the next phase of this encounter promised to test both her pride and their courage even further. The stage was set. The humans had survived the first real challenge, but the greatest test, the one that would define their place in this galaxy, was yet to come. The grand palace of Queen Saralith was silent in the aftermath of the arena challenge. The alien soldiers, though disciplined, whispered among themselves, astonished that the humans had not only survived but had shown strategy and courage beyond what any alien could have imagined. Saralith sat alone in her private chamber, her mind racing. She had always prided herself on understanding war, on predicting outcomes, and on controlling every element in her empire. Yet the humans had confounded her expectations. They were small, their weapons rudimentary, and yet they had moved in ways that no alien warrior could anticipate. Her pride demanded disdain, yet her curiosity refused to be silenced. Saralith summoned her advisors. "Study these humans," she commanded, her voice calm but firm. "Learn everything about them, how they fight, how they survive, what makes them endure. I want knowledge, not just entertainment." The advisors bowed, leaving immediately to gather intelligence. They returned with records of human history, wars on harsh planets, survival through famine and disaster, and battles against far larger and stronger opponents. Humans, it seemed, had a unique way of thriving in environments that would destroy most alien species. Saralith's thoughts were interrupted by a soft chime. Ethan and his team had requested a private meeting. She considered refusing, but curiosity won. The humans entered the chamber, cautious but composed. "Queen Saralith," Ethan began, bowing respectfully, "we do not wish to challenge your authority or test your patience. We only wish to offer dialogue and understanding." Saralith regarded him quietly. "Dialogue," she repeated. "Interesting. You have survived my arena, yet you speak of understanding rather than victory. Why?" Ethan's gaze was steady. "Because true strength is not in winning battles alone, Your Majesty. It is in learning, adapting, and protecting those who cannot defend themselves. That is how humans have endured. That is how we survive." Saralith's golden eyes narrowed thoughtfully. She had never heard such words from a species she had considered weak and insignificant. She decided to test them further, but not with open combat. She wanted to understand them. "Very well," she said finally. "Show me, teach my soldiers something new. Show them how your species survives challenges that seem impossible." Ethan nodded. "We will, Your Majesty. But you must allow us freedom to act. We cannot teach strategy if we are constantly constrained by orders or limitations." Saralith paused, weighing her pride against curiosity. Finally, she agreed. "You may proceed, but I will observe." The humans began training sessions with Saralith's elite soldiers. They demonstrated unconventional tactics, using terrain and obstacles cleverly, feints and misdirection, and timing strikes to exploit even minor weaknesses. To the alien soldiers, it was a revelation. Their strength alone had never been challenged in this way. One session involved a complex obstacle course filled with moving energy barriers and traps. Humans navigated it with careful observation, swift movement, and coordinated teamwork. They would pause to signal each other, move in tandem, and create opportunities that the aliens had never considered. Saralith watched from above, fascinated. Her soldiers attempted to follow, but even the most skilled among them struggled to adapt. The humans' ingenuity and calm under pressure were unlike anything she had seen. "Captain Ethan," she said finally, her voice carrying through the chamber, "your species is remarkable. I do not fully understand it. How can such fragile creatures survive in the harshest conditions of the galaxy?" Ethan smiled faintly. "It is not about being strong, Your Majesty. It is about learning to use what we have, relying on each other and never giving up no matter the odds. Strength is not only in muscles or weapons. It is in the mind and the spirit." Saralith considered his words. For centuries, she had believed that power was measured in size, weaponry, and armies. Humans had shown her that these measures were incomplete. Their strength was in their unpredictability, in their unity, and in their courage. Days passed, and Saralith continued to observe them. She noticed how humans adapted to every challenge she or her advisors created. When confronted with energy traps, they calculated timing perfectly. When facing larger opponents, they used strategy rather than force. When teamwork was required, they acted in perfect coordination. One evening, she decided to test them herself. She activated a war simulation in the palace chamber. Energy constructs formed warriors, drones, and obstacles, all designed to push the humans to their limits. Ethan and his team were ready, as always, moving calmly into the simulation. The simulation began. Saralith watched closely, analyzing each move. Humans dodged, countered, and adapted with astonishing speed. They anticipated the construct's movements and used the environment creatively, turning potential traps into advantages. Saralith felt something she had not felt in centuries: awe. These humans, whom she had initially mocked, were proving qualities that even her most elite soldiers lacked. It was not raw power, it was intelligence, adaptability, and courage. At one point, a massive energy drone charged directly at Ethan. He did not panic. Instead, he signaled Mira, who used a small barrier to redirect the drone into a construct behind it. The drone malfunctioned temporarily, and Ethan moved in to disable the next threat. Every action was calculated, every movement precise. Saralith's advisors whispered among themselves, "This is unprecedented. The humans are teaching us something new. They are strong in ways we never imagined." "They are humans," Saralith said quietly. "Perhaps I underestimated them. Perhaps their strength is different from ours." The simulation ended, and the humans emerged unscathed, calm and composed as always. Saralith approached them directly for the first time. "Captain Ethan," she said, her voice serious, "your species has survived, adapted, and impressed in ways I did not think possible. I have observed you and your team for days, and yet I see there is more. I wish to understand fully. Show me how humans endure and triumph where others fail." Ethan bowed slightly. "Your Majesty, we will share what we can. But human strength is not something that can be fully taught. It is something experienced. You must see it for yourself in action." Saralith considered this. Pride and curiosity warred within her. She had never allowed herself to be challenged so directly. Yet the humans' calm confidence, their skill, and their courage demanded acknowledgement. She realized that to truly understand them, she would need to experience their strength firsthand. "I will arrange it," she said finally. "A personal test. Not to humiliate, but to observe. You will face challenges I design. Your skill will determine how far you can go." Ethan nodded. "We are ready." In the days that followed, Saralith prepared an advanced series of tests. Challenges designed to test every aspect of human ability: endurance, intelligence, teamwork, and courage. The humans approached each task without fear, analyzing, adapting, and learning. Even when the challenges seemed impossible, they found ways to survive and overcome. Saralith's pride began to shift into something new: respect. She watched as Ethan and his team demonstrated qualities that no alien warrior had ever shown: patience under pressure, ingenuity in the face of danger, and unwavering unity even when threatened by superior force. For the first time, she understood a fundamental truth. Humans were not strong in the way her species measured strength. Their power lay in their mind, their spirit, and their unbreakable will. They could survive impossible odds because they never gave up, and because they relied on each other in ways that made them more than the sum of their parts. By the end of the third day, Saralith called a council meeting. Her advisors were prepared for their usual reports of human failure, but they were surprised when the Queen spoke differently. "Humans are unlike any species I have encountered," she said. "They survive where others fail. They adapt where others crumble. Their strength is not in their weapons or size, but in their unity and courage. We must reconsider our approach. Perhaps we have misjudged them." The advisors exchanged glances. Some were hesitant, but the evidence was undeniable. The humans had survived every challenge, learned from every test, and adapted faster than any alien warrior could. Ethan watched from a distance, sensing the shift in Saralith. The Queen who had mocked them was now questioning her assumptions, recognizing the unique strengths of humanity. The part ended with a new understanding forming between the humans and Siralith. She had begun to respect them, and in that respect lay the seed of a powerful alliance, or perhaps a recognition that humanity was not to be underestimated in any way. The next phase, Siralith realized, would not be about testing humans' survival alone. It would be about experiencing their power firsthand, and learning that even a queen could be surprised. The grand hall of Queen Siralith's palace shimmered with energy. Crystal panels along the walls glowed softly, casting reflections that danced like stars. For the first time, the humans would face a challenge designed and commanded by Siralith herself. Unlike the arena, unlike any previous test, this was personal. The queen intended to experience their power firsthand, and she wanted no mistakes. Captain Ethan and his team entered the hall, moving calmly, their weapons at the ready but relaxed in their grips. They had survived every challenge so far, and each one had strengthened their understanding of the alien strengths and weaknesses. They had learned to anticipate, adapt, and act as one. Siralith descended from her throne, her golden eyes fixed on them. Her presence was commanding, and the energy in the room shifted with her movements. "Humans," she said, her voice calm but edged with authority. "You have impressed me. Yet I must see your true strength. I will engage personally. Survive this and you will earn my full respect." Ethan nodded. "We are ready, Your Majesty. We understand that strength is not measured only in force, but in courage and unity." The Queen activated the simulation. Energy constructs appeared first, hundreds of them, each armed with deadly weapons and programmed to attack without mercy. The humans moved immediately, using the environment to their advantage. They dodged, blocked, and redirected attacks with precise timing, working as a unit to overcome the initial wave. Siralith's golden eyes glimmered with curiosity. She watched Ethan's tactics carefully, noting how he anticipated each move and how the humans adapted on the fly. It was different from the earlier challenges. Now she could see the full depth of their skill, their coordination, their patience, and their ability to remain calm under pressure. The second wave began, more dangerous and complex. Massive energy drones hovered above, firing beams that could pierce most alien armor. Elite constructs with glowing blades charged from multiple directions. The humans responded with ingenuity. Mira redirected beams using energy shields. Rojas led a small group to flank the larger constructs, and Ethan moved among them, coordinating every step. Siralith, finally intrigued, stepped forward, her presence alone shifting the simulation. The constructs responded with even greater intensity, reacting to her commands as if she were controlling the battlefield itself. She approached the humans directly, her energy blade activated and humming with deadly force. Ethan met her gaze calmly. "Your Majesty, we do not seek to challenge your authority. We only wish to show that courage, strategy, and unity can overcome even the greatest challenges." Siralith's first strike was fast, precise, and designed to overwhelm. Ethan sidestepped, rolling to the side and signaling Mira. The humans moved as one, using the environment to their advantage. Energy barriers, walls, and reflective surfaces allowed them to redirect attacks, confuse her strikes, and find openings in her technique. Each time she attacked, they adapted. Each time she forced them back, they recovered with skill and precision. It was not brute strength that allowed them to survive. It was observation, calculation, and trust in one another. Siralith began to realize that her assumptions about strength had been incomplete. These humans were not weak. They were resilient in ways she had never experienced. A massive construct charged at Ethan from behind, but Rojas intercepted it, using the construct's own momentum to redirect it into another. Mira disabled a drone with a clever energy pulse, and Ethan finally found an opening in Siralith's defense. He did not strike recklessly. Instead, he demonstrated restraint, showing that humans could neutralize threats without unnecessary violence. Siralith paused, impressed. You are unlike any opponent I have faced," she admitted. Her pride had not left her, but it was tempered now with respect. "Your strength is not in force. It is in courage, intelligence, and unity. You adapt where others fail. You survive where others would perish." Ethan lowered his weapon slightly. "We do not seek dominance, Your Majesty. We seek to endure, to protect, and to act as one. Strength is more than weapons or size. It is spirit, determination, and loyalty to each other." Siralith considered his words carefully. For centuries, she had believed that power was measured in armies, weapons, and fear. Humans had proven her assumptions wrong. Their strength lay in ways her species had never valued, in intelligence, in resilience, in unity, and in courage that never wavered. The simulation reached its climax. Sarilith and her constructs advanced together, a seemingly unstoppable force. The humans were outnumbered, outgunned, and physically weaker, but they did not falter. They moved with precision, using misdirection, timing, and coordinated attacks to survive every strike. At one critical moment, an energy blade nearly struck Ethan, but Mira pushed him out of the way at the last second. Rojas created a diversion that allowed the humans to turn the situation in their favor. It was a perfect example of teamwork, trust, and adaptability, the qualities that defined humanity. Sarilith realized that the humans were not merely surviving, they were teaching her, showing her a new definition of power. Her elite warriors, her advanced technology, even her own skill were not enough to overpower them because they had a strength that could not be measured in size or weaponry. Finally, the simulation ended. Ethan and his team stood calm and composed, while Sarilith's constructs deactivated. The Queen herself lowered her energy blade, her golden eyes filled with a mixture of awe and respect. "You have survived, not through strength alone, but through intelligence, courage, and unity," she said. "I have underestimated your species. You are remarkable. Humans, you have my respect." Ethan stepped forward. "Thank you, Your Majesty. We only seek to show that courage and unity can overcome even the greatest challenges. Strength is not only physical, it is spirit, determination, and trust in one another." Sarilith smiled faintly. It was not her usual cold, commanding smile. It was one of acknowledgement, the recognition that she had learned something important. "Perhaps there is a place for humanity among my empire," she said. "Perhaps we can be allies rather than opponents." The humans bowed slightly. "We welcome the opportunity to work together, Your Majesty," Ethan said. The chamber grew quiet, filled with a new understanding. Humans, whom Sarilith had once mocked as fragile and weak, had demonstrated a power that could not be ignored. Their courage, intelligence, and teamwork had earned the respect of one of the galaxy's most formidable rulers. For the first time in her life, Sarilith experienced humility, not weakness, but awareness that her pride had underestimated the humans. She realized that true power was not just strength or weapons, but the ability to endure, adapt, and unite in the face of impossible odds. The Queen extended her hand toward Ethan. "Humans, I have learned from you. Let this be the beginning of a new understanding. Together we can achieve far more than any of us could alone." Ethan shook her hand firmly. "Agreed, Your Majesty. Together we are stronger than the sum of our parts." The story closed with the humans and Sarilith standing together. A new alliance formed. The alien queen, once proud and dismissive, now recognized humanity's unique strength. The galaxy had witnessed a shift. Humans were not fragile. They were powerful in ways that no one had fully understood until now. In that moment, Sarilith smiled, no longer with pride alone, but with respect and awe. Humans had shown that courage, intelligence, and unity could overcome any challenge, even the might of an alien queen. And so, a new chapter began, where humans were no longer underestimated, their power recognized and their spirit celebrated across the stars.